Hello everyone, it's 20 Italians bringing you another episode of A House United. So I wanted to first thank everyone for just following along here with me. Seems to be a really good series, as I knew Victoria 2 would. We are a crazy but lovable bunch of those that like Victoria 2. So we are going to continue right along here. I was looking at the populations statistics, and actually we'll go into those because it's actually kind of interesting to see where some of the population lies. So let's go down to Hispaniola, the newest state here of the Union, and you'll see right off the bat some interesting things if you're looking at the bottom of the screen, and that is that we have some Bosniaks who are Muslim in La Vega. There's also Greeks, Bulgarians, Armenians, Serbians. Now these are all actual historical pops. This isn't a bug or anything of why are all these European populations in Hispaniola. When the French were fighting the Haitians during Haiti's independence, which none of the European powers recognized after they won independence from France, they brought in a lot of foreign soldiers, and there was already a lot of European communities there. The largest one were the Greeks, and so you can see that borne out here. There's 4 Greek communities, I guess. They're all farmers throughout the state in Port-au-Prince, Cape Haitian, La Vega, and Santo Domingo, which is all 4 provinces. Now, in reality, a lot of the Greeks were situated up in what is Cape Haitian. So I just thought you guys like to see that Hispania is actually quite diverse, much is the most diverse state that we have. There's also some, where are they? There's also some Muslim Albanians who are farmers in Alabama. I thought that was kind of funny too. But looking here, if I wanted to go through each one of these, and I don't, you can see if there was any internal, external, or colonial migration. Now I know that there had to be some because there's already some Dixie pops starting to appear in Port-au-Prince. So I know that there has to have been some, and there's already some Yankees as well. Also, they're bringing Protestantism to the island, which has been mostly Catholic. So you can see, and their slaves obviously are starting to appear. So you can see that it is starting to incorporate, and pops are starting to flow into the state that way from the Union. Now it looks like Tennessee here, if you look at this, the little arrow going up, there has been a population change in Tennessee just due to natural growth, mostly losing farmers there. Nothing's going down, which is good. It means we have positive growth throughout everything. Even our colonies are staying the same. They're not going down. So that's good to know as well. This is the pop chart. This basically tells you anything you'd want to know about each of the pops. You can go even so far as the different provinces or the different subsections within each state here. So if you look at Kansas, which has had growth, you can see that it just had natural growth in Kansas City. Excuse me, which would make sense because people are moving from Kansas City. They're going out to the rest of the nation. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's good to think of it that way. That's basically what's happening. And actually, Hispaniola, I'm just looking at the proportions here. So if we look at the slave states, they actually have the majority of people, because New England is a bunch of states together. Paradox didn't separate them out. Massachusetts, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, which is more border, North Carolina. Yeah, in the top 10, there's more southern states by population than in the north right now. And then even, Hispaniola is considered a slave state. It's in the south. Remember, Texas, though, American Texas, is not a slave state. So you just have to remember that. Some Jews in Lubbock. Interesting. And then a lot of animist religions here. Good. We got some wine production in Dallas. So you can just basically see what's going on with your pops here. Really in-depth for it. And then also you can look at the individual sections of what everyone is thinking. So let's go up to the top, click on the USA. So we're going to select all the states. All right, so now we can look at each of the different subsections. What are the pops, basically? So the vast majority of the populations of America right now are farmers, 47.6%. The next are laborers, and the slaves make up 12.7%. So then you keep on going down, you see that the bureaucrats, 0.7%, and as usual, politicians, even though they're the vast minority, seem to run everything. Nationalities, overwhelmingly Dixie. Now this is while they're the most populous states are in the South, there's just more northern states than there are southern states, so there's going to be more Yankee pops. And then we're further diluting it with the Afro-Antillians and all the others that we brought in from Hispaniola. Religion, overwhelmingly Protestant, as you can see. There's also, it doesn't only show the top three. I guess those Muslim pops are just too small to show on here. Dominant issues, as you see, actually slavery is falling. The outlaw slavery is falling. What we're actually getting now is just political issues, interventionism, and moralism, which are what we already have. So it's not that big of an issue. However, this is starting to change. The liberal ideology is starting to gain more and more traction, and so the liberals right now at this point in time would be considered the Whig Party, even though ideologically they're still conservative. It's just a vein of different shades of conservatism, but it is interesting to note that. And then reactionaries actually reactionaries become conservatives, conservatives become liberals, and liberals become liberal anarchists. So that's basically how it goes down from the top to the bottom. So reactionaries tend to vote with conservatives on most issues. Unless their needs are being met and they're becoming militant, then they will seek to restore order. That was a good little jaunt through the population tab, so we'll continue on our way here. Remember, we are trying to set up our attack on Mexico. And so we have these two 12 regiment armies moving to the Texas frontier. And I think that's about it. And we just have the U.S. Army here. Muzzle-loaded rifle armament. Muzzle-loading rifle is a gun which projectile, blah, blah, blah. Good. Well, we did research muzzle-loading rifles, so that's good that we actually got the tech then for it. So that should give our troops a big boost here in Mexico. So I was reading about Levi Woodbury, who was the last Secretary of the Treasury for Andrew Jackson. And as I put it in the role play, the AAR on the forums, he was the last basically was a revolving door of Secretary of the Treasuries. Jackson was a proponent of hard money. And hard money meant specie, meant gold, silver, coinage. He was not a proponent of the financiers who he thought were ruining the South and ruining the country. And the second bank of the U.S. was corrupt. I mean, it did hand out preferential loans to politicians and to political allies, mostly the Whigs. And so there was that. But Jackson sought during his presidency to not renew the charter, and the bank president just didn't really help anything with how he tried to defend the bank and himself and the press, and it all went to shit, basically. So Woodbury actually helped Jackson with that, and drawing up, he was a lawyer by trade, so he helped Jackson with the legality of it. And but he was also a very, very staunch jingoist. And what I mean by that is that he felt that it was the white American, that it was their destiny to subjugate the other races and the other countries in their sphere, basically, which is right now Mexico. He actually called for the full annexation of Mexico when the Mexican War took place in 1845. Not just to claim everything above above the Rio Grande or north of the Rio Grande and California, basically everything that Mexico had inherited with the when the French left. He called for the full annexation of Mexico, which clearly no one, and thankfully no one did, because could you imagine the U.S. like that? Well, I don't know. You can imagine, because we're going to damn well try it, I hope. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I don't know why I unpaused it again. Right now, we are going to declare war on Mexico. Because we have claims on their cores, and yep, they're at 200. Ooh, the North German Federation has vaulted to the 3rd spot. I don't really care. They're not in this sphere. I'll increase relations. Well, let me check my own here. The USCA 200. Why is it 60? That's all right. And El Salvador, that's all right. I don't need them to come along. Brazil is friendly at 180. We can't add them to our sphere yet. Colombia, we can't add to our sphere yet. They're at 200. Ecuador, don't really care about. Oh, we don't have alliances with... No, we do have alliance with them. Uruguay doesn't really matter. Venezuela, we have an alliance with them. I think I'm going to increase relations with Venezuela. See if they'll come along in our war. I at least want the USCA to attack the Mexicans to time up in the south. Oh, did I spend all my points? I can't even call a war. I'm such a freaking moron. Well, now we're going to have to wait. How many points do I have? 0.8? Yeah, I'm going to have to wait here. Duh. That was just a total brain fart there. So we're just going to wait around. We're making money. That's always a good thing. Making money. All right, there we go. All right, so let's declare war on Mexico. Acquire core. We're going to start with Mexican Texas. And oh wow, we need 15 war score to demand that. All right, so we're going to start with Mexican Texas. Should we try to curtail? No. And let us proceed. War on Mexico. They joined us. They joined us. They joined us. Excellent. Oh, of course, Liberia would. All right. So let's go and attack. Follow our battle plan. What do we got here? We can enact a universal vote? What do people care about? People don't care about the universal vote. Wow, allow suffrage? It would get rid of the suffrage movement. There's Confederate Liberation Movement, though. We're not going to make them more radical. So you see that if we try to suppress it, it makes them more radical. So suffrage calls for the enactment of universal voting, but not a lot of people care about it. It's all the way down. Only 3% of the population care about it. And then the voting system. Highest averages method for allocating seats. 0.1% of the population. No. Non-secret ballots are deliberately modified for electoral purposes, meaning the votes for the ruling party are worth more. The ruling party can use gerrymandering or... Oh, wait, that's gerrymandering. Non-secret ballots. The voters' choices are non-confidential. The ruling party knows who the people voted for and can use pressure in order to get the people to vote for them. Well, that doesn't sound very good. And no one wants that. No one wants secret ballots, which is what we have now, basically. Upper house, we're going to leave it at 2 per state. Because if we do it based on population, then the South would definitely try to secede. Percentage of votes that groups of candidates obtain in elections equals the percentage of seats they receive. These have to be allowed to be chosen because of the inclusion of Hispaniola. But anyways, oh, we're at war with El Salvador. I didn't realize they were allied with the Mexicans. All right, whatever. Good, they can tie up them too. All right, let's get the reserves going. The Armistead decision. Amistad. In a ruling delivered today, the Supreme Court has decided the slaves involved in the violent rebellion aboard the Spanish schooner Amistad of 1839, labor apprehended near Long Island, New York, were merely, in light of the outlawing of the transatlantic slave trade, acting in defense of their personal liberty. The case is viewed as a landmark victory for the abolitionist movement, and public awareness over the slavery issue is rising. Now we can enact the Nashville Nashville Convention, if we so choose. Several representatives of southern states oppose the talk of secession that are being voiced in more extremist circles. If we informally endorse a convention between them, they might be able to calm the secessionist mood. Yes, we're going to do that. I don't see how that could hurt. So this is that we need to own all of it. And this would, wow, far greater to enact this. Oh, that's because of the non-slave states would approve of it. Oh, I gotcha. Should we attack? I think we're going to attack them right away. 28th June. We might miss them. I think I waited too long to decide. Nope, caught him. Good. Then we'll go back to Laredo and besiege it. So one of the things that we can do here, once the war score gets high enough, is that we can start to add on war goals. Now it does increase our infamy. They're focusing down south. It does increase our infamy, but it allows us to just basically add more onto the peace agreements. All right. Botanical expedition returns. Austria announced today that it's located the famed white flower that will henceforth be known as the Austrian Empress. In light of this discovery, our own botanical expedition has very limited outsights of finding anything that will rival the Austrian discovery. Our expedition will return home with limited success. Damn. Look, and oh my gosh, we're dropping. Tensions in Missoula, Montana have been running high for quite some time, but lately there seemed to have been a change in the wind. Things seem calmer in the area for some reason, and many militants are returning to useful occupations. It might be that we are perceived as too strong to resist, but it might also just be that the anger has burst itself out. Excellent. Look at this. We have fallen. I think it's because we declared war, basically. Yeah, look at that. Holy crap. Our prestige is just bottomed out. And our industrial capacity is not very big. Wow. Wow, we need to win this war. Holy crap. That was harsh. That botanical expedition. Who would have thought that would cause so much consternation? But I guess it has. I guess it's just, who knows? So we're going to, do that. Why is there such an issue up here? Like, come on, guys. What do we got here? That's fine. Oh, I didn't want to do that, sorry. Discredited Spain. Discredited Ottoman Empire. They're just going around discrediting people. They're mobilizing, which we have not done yet. Road has been built in Augusta. I don't know what that I don't know what that means for Mexico. I don't know how many men they have at their disposal. Quite a lot, apparently. So, one of the things that we can do here, and we will do, is that we can mobilize. Now, what this does is that it 2% of our poor strata into soldiers, but this does then limit the amount of industrial. You can see the production impact then. I think we're going to be fine, though, by mobilizing. I need a rally point here close to it. We're going to rally in Austin, so we're going to enable this as a rally point. So what's going to happen is people are going to start to just funnel down into Austin. We're also going to set, we don't have a lot of, none of these railroads are complete yet. They are almost complete. Complete at the end of the year. So we are going to actually make this a rally point as well, so that people will funnel into Okmulgee. I fear for the Army of the South, and because of that, I'm going to start to move them over. And you're wondering why I'm not transporting them? That's because the fleet's still right here. Takes a while for them to get there. Let's bring the transport fleet into Port-au-Prince in case we need to move the Haitian army into southern Mexico. Or northern Mexico, depending on where we're at. They are moving into El Paso. They're probably going to try to come up into Lubbock here. So we have to be aware of that. And so eventually we'll start to see pops popping up. There we go. Here's our mobilization. And it looks like we lose some militancy in Colorado, which is always good. Good time to end it right here. I'm going to stop moving around. So thank you everyone for watching this episode of A House United. I hope you learned a little bit something about the populations as well as some of the political parties as well. If you like what you see, feel free to click on the thumbs up. Lets me know that the video is good and you want to see more of it. Leave any comments that you have. Leave any questions in the comments as well. I always enjoy responding to your comments. If you have not yet, you can click on the red subscribe button below the video or at the end of the video if you want. Your subscription means that you appreciate what I'm doing and that you want me to keep on doing it. Don't forget to tell your friends and to tell your mom and to tell your friend's mom. Till next time, everyone, good night and good luck.